and welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing one of my most anticipated reads of 2021, and I know I have done a few already. So I have reviewed Whereabouts by Chumpa Lahiri, Unfinished by Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Clubby to Death by Anuja Chauhan, and Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I've done separate book reviews for these, so I will link them down in my description if you want to check them out, or have like thoughts and opinions on these books if you've read them already, and we can discuss that. But today I am going to be reviewing Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my all-time favorite authors. I think that she can do no wrong. I have loved mostly all the books that I've read from her. Of course, my most favorite is Daisy Jones and the Six, closely followed by Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Both of these are her most famous works. However, I have read two others, I think, of hers, which is Evidence of the Affair, which is a short novella which I really liked, as well as Maybe in Another Life by her, which I also liked quite a bit. So essentially, what happened is that there are not too many books of hers that I don't love. So I went into this book really expecting to love it, but unfortunately it left me just a little disappointed. So first, let me tell you what this book is about. This book is set in the 80s in Malibu, where we follow Mick Riva's four children. Mick Riva was a character in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. He was one of the husbands, but essentially we follow him and his life, like him and his wife and what that was like, and how he attained stardom, and how he had these four children. So that we see in flashbacks, but we also see like an entire day in these children's lives. And essentially what they do is that every summer they have like this party, and we get to see this one party that happened in the 80s that ultimately ended with this huge fire, and we just know from the very beginning that everything went up in flames. So essentially what we're doing is that we're following these four characters from an hour-to-hour basis. So from 7, I think, in the morning to the next day, 7 in the morning. So every chapter is essentially 1 hour, and we get to see them through the day and what they're doing and the perspectives and their lives, and we get to know more about them. So that's essentially what it is. So that is the first part, which is where you get to see like all of these flashbacks, as well as I think it goes from 7 in the morning to 7 p.m. To when the party actually starts, and then you kind of have 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Which is, well, then the party and what happens over there. There are no flashbacks in that one. That's just straight up stuff. Anyway, the four kids are Nina, who is like a reluctant supermodel. She is the eldest and is sort of the person who's had to take care of the rest of the siblings. So we get to know about her life. Her husband has just left her, and just there's a bunch of things happening in her life. We also follow Jay, who is a professional surfer, and Hud, who is his brother, who is like photographs him, and is like a well-known photographer, and they are sort of a team. And then we follow Kit, who is 20 years old and is sort of the baby of the family. She's sort of a tomboy, also really good at surfing, but hasn't really come out to be herself, because she kind of lives in the shadow of her siblings. Now, I liked the siblings well enough, though what I think was the drawback of this book was perhaps that there were so many characters that she couldn't concentrate on building all of these people. So, for example, the most fleshed out character I feel was Nina, so I really liked her as a character. However, I wish that I kind of got more of like Kit, because I really liked her like character and personality, and would have liked to see more from her. Which brings me to the part 2 aspect of this book, which is from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day, and that is the actual party that happens. And in this one, not only do we get the perspective of the siblings, but we also get the perspective of like a lot of the party goers. So for example, we get the perspective randomly of like a cocktail waitress, or of one of Nina's friends, or of a supermodel, or of like Kit's best friend, or of this random finance guy. We just get all of these different perspectives, and while it's cool to have these perspectives because you get to know more of the party and get to see it more holistically, and you get all these random tidbit stories. I felt like that time could have been spent in like fully building out these four siblings and having us be more invested in those four siblings henceforth. Another thing that Taylor Jenkins Reid does really well is atmosphere. So I truly felt like I was in Malibu, and I was at this party and I was with these people, which is a definite plus because I'm stuck at home right now with COVID. So it was great. Other than that, this book was a very compulsive read. I found myself just zooming through it, being very immersed, and finishing it in a day actually. So I loved the flow, and I thought that it was a really simple and easy read. So as I said, this wasn't a new favorite, though I do think that it was a good enough read. If you are a fan of Daisy Jones and the Six or Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I would say maybe go into this with lowered expectations. But other than that, I would highly suggest it for people who are in a slump or who want a quick read or just want a little bit of escapism with some good writing. So yeah, so that was my review for this book. Have you read this book or do you plan to read this book? Let me know down in the comments. If you have read this book, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And if there are any other books that you want me to review, do let me know down in the comments. Essentially, say something to me in the comments, okay? Yeah, that's it for now. I hope that you are doing well, that you are keeping yourself mentally sane, and you have a good weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!